To Osama Nazzal, who's a Palestinian affairs analyst. He joins us now from Jenin in the occupied West Bank. Really good to have you back with us, Osama. The release of Alexander is significant for a number of reasons, including the fact that it was only achieved due to direct talks between Hamas and the United States, something that was unthinkable until now. How significant is that fact, the fact that Hamas has been directly engaging with Washington?
Yeah, the release of the American Israeli soldier will be significant if it has actions on the ground to follow, if the Palestinians have anything in return. I think this step was taken by the Palestinian side as an expression of the Palestinian goodwills and the Palestinian determination and persistence to stop the war and end the Israeli genocide against the Palestinian children and women in Gaza Strip and elsewhere in Palestine. But if this step and the release of this American Israeli soldier is not followed by an American step, mainly to pressure the Israeli occupation government to stop its murder crimes against the Palestinians and to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza, to allow the people to have bread and water. We are talking about basics and necessities of life. I think that the step would be irrelevant. But we hope as Palestinians that the Qataris, the Saudis, the Egyptians, or the mediators are going to ask the American President Donald Trump during his visit to the region to put something on the table for the Palestinians in return for the release of this American Israeli soldier. And the minimum that Donald Trump can put on the table is to call the Israeli occupation prime minister and tell him enough is enough. It's time to stop murdering and cutting into pieces Palestinian children and Palestinian families.
In releasing this hostage, Hamas has expressed, has rather urged the United States and Israel to return to the negotiating table, to return to an initial ceasefire agreement and to lift the blockade on Gaza. As you say, Hamas has described this release as a goodwill gesture. Do you think it will have that desired effect? Might we see this gesture lead to some positive developments for the people of Gaza?
With regard to convincing the Israeli occupation government to return to the table of negotiations, I think it's a futile effort because the Israeli prime minister and the coalition of his government represented by Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and other Israeli extremists, they are all against talking with the Palestinians and they are against any form of calm or peace with the Palestinians. They started this genocidal campaign as their major mission this year, and they want to stop before they achieve their all goals. The main goal is to have no Palestinian in the Gaza Strip, either by expelling them or by murdering almost all of them. That is the Israeli rule, and changing this rule is impossible unless the American administration uses its leverage and orders the Israeli occupation Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to take a new turn and end his war on the Palestinians. Now, is Donald Trump going to do that? That is the question. And I think the whole process depends on his meetings with the Arab leaders, mainly the Saudis, the Qataris, and the Emiratis. If they pressure Trump and if they don't achieve his dream of having the many trillions of dollars that he is talking about and the big deals that he is telling the American people about that he is going to sign in the Arab Gulf states, if they don't give him these deals and these gifts without a return, I think he's going to pressure Israel. So the whole issue now rests with the Arab leaders and the Arab governments who are going to meet Trump, and we will see how they are going to respond to his request and demands of deals that are estimated to be in trillions of dollars. So the ball now is in the courtyard of the Arab governments and the way they are going to receive and deal with the American president.
Osama, we understand that Benjamin Netanyahu and his government is growing increasingly frustrated with the Trump administration because it feels like it's being sidelined on a number of fronts. We know that the US has met directly with Hamas without involving Israel. We also know that Washington has been engaging with Tehran in talks as well. And the Trump administration has also been engaged in talks with Yemen's Houthi group, all of which doesn't involve Israel at this stage. It does seem increasingly that perhaps the Trump administration isn't really interested in involving Israel in all these discussions, does it?
Yeah, it is true that what the American president is doing now, mainly the release of the American soldier without returning to the Israeli occupation government, is a slap in the face of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But we don't want to give that slap big weight as Palestinians, because what's happening until now is like a tactical shift, if it is possible to call it a shift in the American administration policy towards Israel. But on the strategic level and on the long run, I don't think that the American-Israeli relations are going to be shaken off for the benefit of the other nations in the Middle East, mainly the Palestinians and the Arab states in general. And we need to understand that the Israeli occupation has its strong Zionist lobby in the United States that can play much within the United States and have its impact on the foreign policy of the American administration. So what we are seeing now is not more than tactical steps, not strategic, and the result of these policies and the steps depends on how the Arab leaders are going to deal with Donald Trump. Are they going to sign all the deals that he is bringing to the table for free without a return? Are they going to care about investment and be money wise? Or they are going to tell him that Israel spilled enough blood of the Palestinians and the bloodbath in Gaza and the West Bank and East Jerusalem must come to an end. If they use their leverage, if they don't sign deals with Trump before taking a guarantee and a promise from him to stop that, I think the Palestinian situation would not be better off. So all that depends really on the results of the upcoming meetings.
Yes, and the White House says that Donald Trump is now on his way to Saudi Arabia. Osama Nazzal, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us on the program.